Morning. Today we are working on the video for packet number 6. This is due next week, Tuesday, January 23rd. So packet 6 is due, and it's not written on here, but it's due January 23rd. Make sure your name is on your packet. You don't want to be turning in packets with no name. So right now, if you have your packet out, look to see if your name is on it. Our first page says Sally, Fred, and Mickey have read a total of 51 books. Fred has read twice as many as Mickey. Sally has read 15 more books than Mickey. How many books did each person read? When I come to a word problem like this, I like to solve it using my pictures. So I have Sally, Fred, and Mickey. So I know I have my 3 people. I know that they've read a total of 51 books. Fred has read twice as many as Mickey. So Mickey has read 1 unit of books. That's how much Mickey has read. Fred has read twice as many. So he has 2 units, right? So Fred has twice as many as Mickey. Sally has read as many as Mickey, and then 15 more. So this is how much Mickey has read. She's read 15 more than that. And all together, that equals the 51 books. So I'm going to look at this and say, hey, look, I've got 4 equal amounts plus 15 equals 51. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract that 15 extra books. I'm going to subtract that from my 51, and I get 36 books. Now I know I have 4 equal units. So 4 units of books equals 36. How much is 1 unit of books? If 4 units equals 36, how much would 1 be? How did you find that answer, Connor? What math did you do? If I know there's 4 units and it equals 36, how much is 1 unit, Madison? What math do I have to do?
You have to divide.
I have to divide. I'm going to take my 36 books, I'm going to divide it by those 4 units, and I know that 1 unit equals 9 books. So if I know 1 unit equals 9, if I plug a 9 into each of those units on top, can I figure out how many books each person had? And then for my answer, I have to say how many Sally has, how many Fred has, and how many Mickey has. So this was the key piece of information that we needed to go down to in order to figure out how many books each person read. Okay, let's look at our next page. Oh, the next page is our 5-card challenge. We only had 1 word problem set for this packet. All of your 5-card challenge equations need to equal 9. So using these different numbers, remember the ace only has 1 diamond on it, so it's worth 1 point. Or not point, it's worth 1, not 11, so just a 1. All right, then we have our pattern page. The first 5 figures of the pattern are below. For Math 6, we need to complete the table. How many blocks are in figure 1? 1. How many are in figure 2? 3 are in figure 2. How many are in figure 3?
6.
How many are in figure 4?
10.
How many are in figure 5? We need to figure out what pattern they're going up by. If figure 1 is at 1, and figure 2, we're at 3. So I look at my total number of blocks, I look at what figure I'm at now, if I add those together, I get the answer. So if I have 3 blocks are for figure 2, and I add it to the number 3 for figure 3, I get my next answer. Follow that pattern down to the bottom. That's all you have to do for this page. Next page. Next page is our area and perimeter. They give us every single side has a number. So every side has a number. So our perimeter, we add up each side. Be careful with all of these low numbers that you get the correct number for your perimeter. For our area, there are a number of different ways you could do it. The way I did it was I just made it a full rectangle. Is that if I add in those 3 squares, it's a complete rectangle. So I know the area of a rectangle is length times width. My length would be, this would be a 1, just like this is a 1. So it would be 6 plus 1 is 7, times my width, 1 plus 2 is 3. That gives me my full rectangle. But then I have to subtract away these 3 squares that I added in. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So I have 1, 2, 3 squares that I have to subtract away because they are not in the original figure. So to solve this one, I found it easier for me just to make it a full square, figure out what the area, or full rectangle, figure out that area, and then subtract away the 3 squares I added in. You could look at it and say, well, I want to break it into smaller rectangles. And you could break it into smaller rectangles and find the area of each rectangle and add those up. We should get this exact same answer. All right, let's look at our next page. Oh, the next page, we need to be able to write down some formulas. We need, the first thing we have to do is draw the net of a cone. What do you think that would look like, Zelda?
It would be 2 squares. It's not there.
That's not a cone. If we have squares, it's not going to make a cone shape. What do you think, Layla? So we're going to have a circle because that's our bottom. Is this circle? Yep. It's not going to be just a triangle. It's going to start off like a triangle, but then we've got that curve on the bottom. So we have to put our curve on the bottom so it's not an actual triangle. So when we're finding the surface area, we find the area of our circle, and we're going to add that to the area of this goofy shape. Before we can do that, we have to put in our measurements. That slanted side is 19 centimeters, and the radius of our circle is 5 centimeters. Now, here is the formula that we need to find the surface area. So we have to find the area of the top part. We're going to do pi times the radius times that cursive L, which means it's the slanted length. So when you see a cursive L like that, it means slanted length. And we're going to add that to the area of our circle. To find the area of our circle, it's pi r squared. So we add those two areas together to get the surface area. On your calculator, when you want to multiply by pi, you can either press the pi button, and it'll put that shape onto your calculator, and then multiply it by what you want to multiply, or you could type in 3.14. Either way on our calculators it'll work. If you have a simpler calculator that doesn't have the pi button, then you would type in 3.14. So if we look at the math we're going to do for this, we know we have pi times r is our 5, times our slanted length is 19, and we're going to add that. So we've got this section, and we add it to pi times our radius squared. What does it mean when it's radius squared? Who remembers what it means to square a number? Zelda?
You multiply it by 2.
Nope. We do not multiply it by 2. We multiply it by itself 2 times. So 5 times 5. So you would multiply that by pi to find the area of the circle. Any questions on this? So you're going to want to write down that formula and plug the numbers in. And if you're not sure, go back and watch the video again and pause it, write down your numbers. Next page is our volume page. So we're going to want to write down the formula to find the volume of our cone. So you're going to want to write this down. It is pi times the height, which goes up in the middle is our height, times the radius squared. And we're going to divide all that by 3 because it's a cone. So when we found the volume of a cylinder, it was pi times the height times the radius squared. To find the cone, we divide it by 3. So pi times height times radius squared. So the calculation would be pi times our height of 18 times the radius of 7 squared divided by 3. So you need to do that math to find out what the actual volume is. So pi times 18 times the radius squared, 7 squared, divided by 3. You do that math and you get this answer. Then it says math 6, recall that a cone is 1/3 of a volume of a cylinder with the same radius and height dimensions. What is the volume of the cylinder this cone was cut from? So that's just the math, not divided by 3. So we found that cone, the cylinder first. To find the cone, we divided it by 3. So don't divide it by 3. And that's going to give you the answer that you put down here. Our last page is a mean, median, and mode page. So remember, to find the mean, median, and mode, what is our first step that we have to do? Oh, sorry, not mean, median, and mode. My bad. Making a graph. So to make a graph, you want to put a label, You're going to make a bar graph. It's the easiest graph to make for this. So you want to put your snack bar, your snacks, and then the preference. So you're going to actually write what each snack is down below. Bag of chips, candy bar, hot dog, hamburger, pizza slice. Then going up, you put your numbers. Think about, you have to look, each of these lines, each of these hashtags stands for 1. So bag of chips, there are 8 of them because there's 5 in a group. 6, 7, 8, 5, 10, 15, 16. So figure out how many people liked each snack choice. And then you'll know what numbers to put going up, and you'll know how high up to put your bars. With that, we are going to stop. Remember, these math packets are due next week, Tuesday. So if you still have any questions, come see me privately. Have a wonderful day.